everybody. My name is AJ Flores, and today we have a very special visitor coming to read us a book, Mr. Joe Hayes.
Hello, my name is Rafaela Rodriguez, and we'll be reading Today It's Not Tortillas by Joe Hayes.
Hello, I am Mara Skelton, and his father told him and his siblings stories, and that's what got him interested in telling stories. And without further ado, let's welcome Mr. Joe Hayes.
But look, there's no book in my hands. I'll just tell it out of my head. Oh, it's an old story. It's a story about a man who chopped firewood for a living. He was a leñador. He was a firewood cutter. Ooh, that man was good at his work. He could chop down a tree in no time at all. He would split it up to make firewood. He could take it to the village and sell it. He could make a pretty good living, but that man had never been to school. He didn't know how to read, he didn't know how to write, and he didn't seem to be very bright either, because he was always doing foolish things that would get him into trouble. But this man was lucky because he had a very clever wife. She knew how to get him out of the trouble his foolishness would get him into. Well, one day the man was way off in the mountains, chopping firewood. At the end of the day, he started down the trail to go back home again, and he saw 3 leather bags by the side of the trail. He walked over and he opened up the first bag. It was full of gold. He looked into the second bag. It was full of gold too. So was the third one. He carried those bags of gold home and showed them to his wife. His wife said, "Oh, don't tell anybody you found that gold. Some robbers must have hidden it out there in the mountains. If they find out we have it, they might even kill us to get it back again." But then she thought, "Oh no, my husband can never keep a secret." And then she came up with a plan. She said to him, "I need you to go to the village and buy me some flour. I need a lot of flour. Bring me 100 pounds of flour." The man went down to the village. He was grumbling to himself. He said, "Oh, I've been working up in the mountains all day long. Now my wife wants me to carry home 100 pounds of flour." But he bought a big sack of flour. He lugged it back home to his wife. And his wife said, "Oh, thank you. You have been working awfully hard. Why don't you go inside and lie down and rest for a while?" Well, he liked that idea. He went into the house and he lay down on the bed and he fell asleep. As soon as he fell asleep, his wife took the flour and she started to make tortillas with it. She made one batch of tortillas after another one. She kept making tortillas until the stack went clear up to the ceiling. She turned a whole 100 pounds of flour into tortillas. And then she carried them all outside. She threw them all over the ground. Well, the man was so tired. He slept all through the evening. He slept all night long. He didn't wake up until the next morning. And when he woke up, he looked outside and he saw that the ground out there was covered with tortillas. He said to his wife, "What's this?" And his wife said, "Oh my goodness, it must have snowed tortillas last night." He said to her, "Snowed tortillas? I've never heard of such a thing." She said to him, "Well, you're not very well educated if you've never heard about it snowing tortillas. You better go to school and learn something." She made him get all dressed up in his best suit. She packed him a lunch. She made him go to school. He didn't know how to read or write, so they put that man in the first grade. He had to squeeze into one of the little chairs that the first graders sit in. The teacher would ask questions. The children would all raise their hands. He didn't know the answers to any of the questions. He kept getting more and more embarrassed. Finally, he couldn't take it anymore. He jumped up and went stomping out of the school. He went back home, he picked up his axe, and he said to his wife, "I've had enough of school. I'm going to go and chop some firewood." And she said, "Oh, that's fine. Go right ahead and do your work." And then, sure enough, just about 1 week later, the robbers came to the house one day. They said to the woman, "Where is that gold your husband found?" She acted innocent. She said, "Gold? I don't know anything about any gold." They said, "Come on, your husband's been telling everybody in the village he found 3 bags of gold. They belong to us. You better give them back." She said, "What? Did my husband say that? Oh, that man, he says the strangest things. I don't know anything about your gold." They told her, "Well, we'll find out. We'll wait right here till he gets home." The robbers stayed around the house all day long. They were sharpening their knives. They were cleaning their pistols. In the evening, they looked out and they saw the man coming home. They ran over to him and they grabbed him. They said, "Where's that gold you found?" He scratched his head. He said, "Oh, that gold. My wife hid it someplace." "Wife, what did you do with that gold?" She said, "I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know anything about any gold." And he said to her, "Of course you do. Don't you remember? It was just the day before it snowed tortillas. I came home with 3 bags of gold. And then don't you remember, in the morning, you made me go to school." The robbers looked at one another. They said, "Did he say it snowed tortillas? And his wife makes him go to school?" "Ese pobrecito está loco. That poor guy is crazy," they said. And the robbers went away, thinking that everything he said was just a lot of nonsense. So the woodcutter and his clever wife had 3 bags of gold, and they never did find out who the gold really belonged to, so they just got to keep it all for themselves. That's the story of the day it snowed tortillas.